Hello and welcome to the Roman Rodez Podcast. This is our new episode. Thank you for joining. Thank you for watching. I'm Roman and
I'm Rodez.
I was going to say joining me today as always, but I flubbed that line.
Special shout out to my best friend Angela. Special shout out to Alan Zamaron reminding us all dogs cannot look up.
Can they? Can they not?
Who cares?
I don't know.
No, they I'm guessing maybe they meant like the eyes roll up. Like, have you ever seen a dog looking up like this?
I'm not a dog person, so I don't know. I haven't really studied the traits of dogs. So
You got dogs though, you know.
but I'm not a dog person.
No, you just don't look at them. Just no, bad boy all the time. Today's episode, we will be talking about expectation versus reality, particularly with, I guess, like destinations. So to start with, you've most likely heard of the Northern Lights or the Aurora Borealis. And it's, if you look it up online, real pretty pictures of, I guess, around Canada, Alaska, other northern countries. You could see the lights that are basically the sun's radiation reflecting off of the magnetic poles at the top part of the planet, and it makes a light beam, like a big wavy light. Usually it's green. Sometimes I heard it's other colors.
See, well, that's the thing. Every time I've heard of the Aurora Borealis, in textbooks or whatever, they have the photos, and it has like it's like a snake-like light in the sky. It's different
ribbon,
colors,
like a green ribbon floating
almost
through the
like
sky.
Santa Claus is floating through the
I think
sky, and there's like some
it's just
glitter
majestic.
And lights
looks like CGI. And apparently that's not what it looks like in person, because those are long exposure photographs usually, or they'll use a special camera if they're filming it. Well, even it could be a long exposure camera where it's taking a picture over a long amount of time and then they just rush it together. So the way you would like take a picture of a seed being planted and you could watch it sprout up and become a flower, that took a really long time to film. They just sped it up so you could see it instantly.
It's like one snapshot over a period of time. And just trying to take out as much light.
Exactly. And it looks cool though
possible.
too. And the thing is, so basically, if you've ever seen the Milky Way galaxy, just go out anywhere where it's totally dark, look around the night sky, and if you see kind of a faint stream of connected stars, all shimmery, that goes down to the horizon, that's the tip of the Milky Way galaxy, the galaxy that we're in. But it doesn't look like it does in pictures. Google the image and then go trying to see it. It's still beautiful, but it's not usually looking that good.
So why are we seeing photos of the Aurora Borealis like this, and they're not showing how it really looks?
Because
like
it doesn't look good. It's just I mean, it's not like they're trying to deceive you. They're just trying to capture a good picture, and it's just the camera makes things look a certain way. Another example is if you ever try to take a picture of the moon, it's going to look way different in your camera because the way our eyes work makes it look bigger and crisper. And whenever you see it through a camera's lens, and that has to do with a big part, that the shape of the lens is flat usually, the different aperture, all the little parts of a camera make it look different versus how our eyes see it. So there's a thing where whenever the moon or the sun is going towards the horizon, it looks a lot bigger. It can look huge sometimes. And if you see pictures online where the moon or the sun look ridiculously big, that's usually photo editing. Even though you could see it with your eye that it would look that big, in camera you have to do special tricks, and sometimes a lot of times it's digital manipulation.
When you see the milliliters on a lens, the longer the lens or the wider the lens is more distorted from normal view. There are lenses that are very close to how the human eye interacts with light and sees images, but that's not very cinematic, and that's not usually the lenses they use in photography or in film. Just because it looks.
But the reason I bring this up is
too flat.
Basically, people have been going to like Canada. I heard about this for someone who was visiting, I think Greenland or Iceland, and they, it's a long trek, and you can only see these lights super late at night. And they were super disappointed. It was freezing because, of course, it's like really close to the North Pole, and it's at night when you could see it. So it's as cold can be, probably colder than a person who's visiting has ever been. And there's nothing else around them. You go just for those lights. So if you don't like camping on top of it, you're gonna have a bad time.
So it's like not that should just be one part of the experience.
You should know.
It just shouldn't be the experience.
Yeah, and if it is. Because when you go for like a Northern Lights trip, more than likely that's what you're going for. It's like one of those once in a lifetime type of things, especially.
It's like any other location like that, like Niagara Falls or something like that. Especially, you're gonna go to see that.
Exactly.
Exact.
If you're not ready for some bumps along the road, don't expect a pleasant trip. It's a big tourist area, so you're gonna be surrounded by a lot of people. Might be bumping into you, and a lot of those they'll take you out on a boat to get closer. and they have to give you these raincoats because it's pouring on you constantly because of the mist that it creates.
At Niagara Falls.
Yeah, Niagara Falls. And if you're not comfortable with that, it can be really nasty. If you don't like water, it can. Otherwise, it's basically you're not gonna experience that majestic, perfect picture. You're gonna experience all the pictures up to it where it's like you're waiting in line, you're getting your ship passed, you're like, oh my god, they cost this much, and then like all the touristy stuff around, like every candy bar costs $3 now, and just a bunch of people pushing into you that you don't know. It can be unpleasant. Tourist destinations attract a lot of people, and a lot of people can make a lot of problems.
That's one thing, this past week has been spring break for my daughter. Oh, yeah. So I've been trying to take her out a little bit more. So we've gone to the park and stuff. And,
you told me.
It's kind of like, some of the things that she wants to do, like she wants to go to the beach, she wants to go to Corpus and stuff, and I'm like, okay. I sometimes I forget I have my mentality of what that experience is like going to the beach. Kind of like, okay, we're going to go on, within a day's amount of time, probably only going to have a couple hours of actual like
beach time.
And beach time.
You're going to have a couple of hours of beach time. You're only going to have a few minutes of fun.
And then, kind of see it, okay, well, see it through my daughter's eyes. She's 5 years old, kind of like what big, she has no other reference point for it.
She doesn't know that it's bad yet. It's going to suck.
or that what the experience is like. There's comedians who joke around about, that you see they would go on vacation to Disney World or whatever, and their dad was always grumpy. They said it wasn't until they grew up that they realized why, because it's all the waiting around, it's all the all the
you can't have fun like a kid does.
Adds up,
Forget about the world around you. You got to worry about driving and parking. Oh my God, parking anywhere. I know beach parking is never fun. Did you go to the beach after all?
No, I haven't gone yet. It's just the weather. It's been too cold, too chilly.
Is it cold like that at Corpus Christi, or is that just what you're telling your kid? You don't want to go there.
That's the thing, I guess, because I think this isn't. Maybe that's the thing. That's an adult thing, thinking, okay, this weather. Wait till it warms up a little, because I know that it's going to be a little bit warmer weather, and there'll be that perfect time when maybe not everybody's going to go to the beach.
Well, now this is the time to go when it's awful. No one will be there. You have the beach to yourself, and she'll never ask again. She'll be like, "Daddy, what's this? That's a shank, sweetie." No, Corpus Christi can be a fun place, but if you're going just for an awesome beach
like
time,
any tourist location, there's the good spots, there's the bad spots, and you kind of got to know where you're going to.
As a tourist, you don't know where they're at. Unless you know somebody who lives there, you're going to go to the place where everybody's at. So there's going to be a ton of trash, and you're going to be fighting for a spot, and it's not going to be a good one.
Yeah.
Also, too, nothing against our beaches in general, but from what I've heard, Corpus doesn't have the best beach experience. It's more like a dirty river that keeps going. It's a dirty river beach. I mean, there's a lot of ships going around that area, so a lot of industrial runoff and just a lot of it can be dirty and gloomy looking from
there's a spot. There's a spot right in Corpus that is very nice, and I would go to that spot, but I'm not very familiar with more of the areas. We've gone to Port Hernandez, which is nice, Mustang Island, which is nice, but it's like for a family experience to take your kids and stuff. I think there's just one spot in Corpus.
It's kind of a party town area, right? Yeah, it's like a lot of high schoolers and college kids go to get drunk.
Yeah.
Every time somebody tells me, "Oh yeah, I went to Corpus Christi, Port A, one of the areas around there," I'm always thinking, "Sorry, dude." The long drive, and I'm just not thinking of any.
Now there are a few. No, but there are a few other beaches here in Texas that I've heard about that I've never gone to. And heard people say it's a much better experience, but it's kind of like also what you're expecting, what you're looking for.
I'm expecting foam ice chests floating around, stuff on the top.
But kind of like what experience you're looking for, like if you're just going with friends. Because I mean, if I were going with just friends, then maybe the expectations would be different. Taking my daughter, going with family, the expectations, of course, are going to be different.
You go with friends, you're going to come back with enemies because you're going to be stuck in the car for a long time and have a nasty beach experience. Just like, oh, great, thanks for the hepatitis B through A.
I remember there was a while when
B through A. I'm going to claim dyslexia on that one. Sorry.
I remember there was a time in high school when we were planning like some kind of like
a camping trip.
Trip, and we're gonna go up the coastal area and stuff.
It wasn't coast, wasn't it? Like out in the woods.
It was the coast.
Was it?
We were gonna go up, hit up, go to the beach, and then hit up more up north and try to go out of Texas.
Yeah.
That never panned out.
I don't remember that part of the plan. I wasn't going to go out of Texas.
Maybe that was...
I think, you guys,
maybe it was just mentioned and it wasn't real. Because we never went.
It would have been awful. We would not be friends to this day.
I think that if we had gone on that trip...
No.
It would have ruined us.
You have that idea that, oh yeah, we're just going to be great bonding, and it'll be like, no, we'd have learned how much we suck much earlier on, and it would have been concentrated, and then we would have like drifted apart, and we'd just been like the last bad.
Reality. The expectation in high school versus reality now that we know.
Like, I'm glad I didn't have to experience that.
Yeah.
Oh, but to sort of tie into beaches, expectation versus reality, you've been to Mexico.
I've been to Mexico. Yes, we've talked about this on the podcast before. Yes, I've been to Mexico.
Tell me more about back. What was it? Really?
Yeah.
I say really.
Well, that area of Mexico that I've been to, I went to Guadalajara, which is deep south central Mexico. I believe. I really didn't know what part of Mexico.
I might be willing to check out that area. And then it's like I'm bashing it. But it's like, there's parts of Texas I don't like going to. I don't like going to the beach here.
Yeah, I know. Like I've been to Laredo on this side of the border. And from what I've heard of Nuevo Laredo on the other side of the border, it's a very different Mexico experience than like South Central Mexico.
You know what I realized? There's like Yorkshire and like England or wherever. We have New York. Yeah. There's Mexico. Yeah. We got New Mexico. Yeah. But we have Laredo, but they got the new Laredo. So we got gypped on that. You've heard of the Nuevo Laredo is kind of a better experience than the Laredo?
I've heard basically they're the same.
Really? Yeah. You know what, dude? I've kind of heard that too. It's like they're both like the Laredo seems to be its own little realm.
It feels like what I've heard feels like just one city that's split.
Yeah.
So one's on one side of the border, one's on the other side.
And that's all the difference. That's all the difference. We both.
But going to Mexico, we did go to the beach there. I've been to. Okay, so I've been to the beaches here in Texas. I went to the beach in California when we went over there.
Oh, really?
Beautiful over there. Yeah. But I didn't. But it was just kind of like a go there and like spend a couple hours and then we have to go somewhere else. So it wasn't like a big beach. But like spending all day.
From what I've heard about California beaches, every time somebody tells me they go to California, I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Then they say they went to a California beach, and it's like, yeah. So that's what I liked about Escape from LA. Take your beautiful beaches now covered in acid surfers, acid rain, and just horribleness. I'm jelly. I'll admit I'm jelly.
I loved California. It was a great experience.
Tell me about the Mexico experience. How did you get to the beach?
Well, we went to Guadalajara, and then there was some family members.
Name to say.
Yeah, and that city is interesting because it's a big old city, and there's like. It wasn't what I was expecting.
What were you expecting?
I don't know what I was expecting. I mean, I've seen a whole bunch of movies about...
Something bad. You were expecting something bad, and it turned out to just be people that were nice, and you're like,
it was kind of okay. I had my expectations about what Mexico was going to be like, and it's like all my expectations were met, but also stuff went... Yeah, it was a weird thing because Guadalajara is just so like...
You're expecting tacos, but they were great tacos. You're expecting people to speak Spanish, but they spoke it really good.
I was expecting enchiladas, and I didn't find any enchiladas.
That's good. I'm not a big enchilada fan. Yeah, because certain types of Mexican food are regional, right?
Excuse me. Yes. So they had
what was their...
The big thing in Guadalajara was the...
What's that mean in
tortas
English?
Ahogadas. Tortas ahogadas?
I don't know what they are.
Tortas ahogadas. It's like torta is like basically
I think we got the torta.
I guess like a hoagie sandwich, kind of bread with some meat, pork meat, deliciousness. But they would dip the whole thing in a like red chili sauce.
That sounds pretty good.
I guess the closest thing we could have here in Texas is a pulled pork sandwich doused in barbecue sauce, or Frank's Red Hot sauce, or Tapatio, or whatever your choice of red hot sauce is.
That sounds pretty good.
That's pretty much it.
How do you just like grab it with your hands, all sauced up, and go to town?
They serve it to you already, just soaked up in there.
Town. Sounds delicious.
It's very delicious. What else did we get into? Okay, well, my expectations in Mexico.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of movies like El Mariachi and stuff, and they show the Mexican cities, the little towns, the villages where it's
free coconut water.
No free coconut water. That's a myth. I did drink coconut water on the beach.
You did? How was it? Disappointment.
No. Because coconut water, I think there's a... See, that's the problem.
We're coconut juice from like Sonic or something.
There's coconut water and there's coconut milk. Coconut milk, I prefer coconut milk more because it's a little sweeter, it's a little richer.
I prefer coconut water.
Coconut water is
brisk and tastes natureful to me.
It's
very light. It doesn't have a very strong taste. And it can have pulp in it a lot of times.
Yeah, so it was a flavor that I wasn't expecting because it doesn't really taste like coconut. Mm-hmm. It just tastes like...
It tastes like coconut without all the high fructose corn syrup in it. Yeah. I enjoyed it.
It wasn't bad. It just wasn't what I was expecting, and I kind of prefer coconut milk than coconut water.
Hands up. Okay. Anything else? So it was all pretty much food related.
So yeah.
But not enough sombreros for you? Too many sombreros.
Well,
different style of sombrero.
In a way, it was kind of like what I was expecting. I was expecting, just kind of how the people were gonna, approach you, be very friendly, and be very, open and stuff. And
like human beings. Gotcha.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
there weren't caricatures.
There weren't caricatures, no, which was awesome. Cool. Yeah.
No, let's be honest. If they were caricatures, you'd have been, I had the best Mexican trip of my life.
Okay, you said you haven't seen Coco yet, right?
No.
I guess
I'm planning to.
On one level, Coco pretty much got the authenticity of the Mexican village there. But then you would go into the city, and it was just like a big old city like San Antonio, or even
like
bigger
than
Mexico.
Else.
Everyone else. But then it was kind of like the three levels of Mexico. I saw, the big metropolitan area, which I was expecting, but not on that scale. The actual city, which was like
I wouldn't
a Mexican village,
probably.
which is exactly what I was expecting.
Yeah.
But then kind of like the ranchitos out in the middle of like the woods.
The Spanish for ranches.
The ranches, which was it wasn't really what I was expecting. It was so beautiful out there. You just go out there and it was just like the Mexican countryside.
But what was it like? Did it have like dirt, grass?
It was
herbs,
it was kind of a lot
rocky?
like the ranches here we have in Texas, but a lot of just vegetation, a lot of green, just a lot of.
Sounds like my yard. I don't mow.
In a weird way, it was kind of a lot like.
Yeah, I love it. I'm authentic.
But
when they ask, why don't you take care of your yard? I could just say, because I'm authentic. That's why.
But we went to a ranch, and it was like right outside the village. So you'd go into the village, and you felt like you were in a little village, and then you'd walk into this ranch, which wasn't even like a quarter mile away from the central village. Sorry,
I'm thinking it's like you went into the village, which was like a village, as opposed to. Okay,
it's very late.
Wait, the village was what you expected of Mexico, so sort of smaller houses, made out of
houses, kind of like
staccato.
Yeah, that kind of bricks, adobe kind of thing, really? Tile roof, kind of thing. But then we go into the ranch, and it was just so beautiful out there, and they had like guayaba trees and avocado.
For those of you who don't know, that is a tequila tree.
No, not. You're thinking of the.
Wait, what's the agave tree then?
Agave and the guayaba.
Okay, then So I said the right thing.
No. Then we went through the areas where they had before they made the tequila. So and you would see these plants, and it was like rows of corn that we'd have here in Texas, man. Dang. It was.
Okay, so just so you know, was it the agave tree is the tequila, and the guava tree is a fruit.
Yes, the guavas.
And they are delicious too. They're like kind of like pears with seeds in them.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I had the right thing. You just said it wrong. But they did have both there, so it didn't matter at all.
And it was just kind of like more open and free, and it just felt like more naturistic, Kind of like, because I've traveled through Texas on trips, family trips. And it was kind of like, okay, what kind of kind of expect?
I'm oppressed, and this is just not like, I'm not free here. No, I don't have my freedoms. In Mexico, the freedoms. It looks exactly like how my home does. There's so much more freedom here. Wink. Okay, but no, okay, cool. I'm not to bash you. I'm totally bashing your experience, but not to bash you. Okay, I get that feeling, that experience, that pureness of like, this is the nature. This is where like I can make a living here. I can make a home here. Just that feeling. Sometimes you just a certain area speaks to you.
Yeah.
So
it felt very much. I was gonna say like home in a weird way,
That's right.
But then we went to Puerto Vallarta, which was on the kind of the other side, not other side of the country.
Puerta means port.
Yes, and Vallarta means Vallarta.
You know what would be funny if it was like just a version of Port A. It just says it in Spanish. How'd you get there? All right, so wait. So it was the metropolitan city.
Yeah.
Then which was like not what you expected at all. Then there was the village, which was exactly what you expected. Then you went to a ranch, which was like, my homeland. Yes. And then
you know what it kind of felt like to put a cinematic experience to it when in The Godfather, when Michael Corleone goes to Italy and like he's out there in the Italian garb, he gets the Italian wife.
That's beautiful.
And it was a lot like that.
Awesome. No judgments. I want that experience. No judgments at all. I would totally do the same thing.
I was like Michael Corleone.
I would do. That's just a cool thing to say. That's cool. I would watch that movie. But
after we watch all three are on Netflix. And
I want to go to every country, and I want that authentic experience. That's awesome. Okay, so and then from the ranch you drove out to the beach.
To the beach, and it was a 2-hour drive. And basically, like, it was a lot of mountainous region, but not like mountain, like, you know, like the dwarves trekking through, you know, the misty mountains and kind of
taking the hobbits to Isengard. Taking the hobbits to
It was very green, and all the mountains. It was grass. Mountains. It was
just grass. Were they? They were the mountains that were like.
I gotta say mountains because it wasn't like the hill country that we have here in Texas.
Those were. It was like there were small mountains, big hills, kind of area just in between.
And it was just like these big highways cutting through the.
Really? I was expecting like a dirt road the way you explained the first time.
But see, that's the thing. It was like a highway.
Mm-hmm. Like, how many lanes?
In some places it was 4 lanes and then it would cut to 2, but it was a highway. It was, you know.
That's cool, because that's not what I was expecting at all. Every time you tell me this story, I always think a dirt road.
Just there was parts where it would, like, we'd have to like go down to a little, you know, town or whatever. It would turn to a dirt road, but then once it got back
up, it was
on
the side.
Heck yeah.
Okay, just making sure. But they call it gas. It's like petroleum there, and they sell it by the liter, right? It's like different.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think those were like one gas company. It's kind of like a monopoly there, you know.
It is to say there's 3 in the whole world, so it's like I'm not faulting Mexico about that at all. That's just how gas is.
But a lot of people there were complaining about it, you know, about the whole gas situation.
Same complaints we got here. It's like it's bad.
Yeah, but then going to the beach, we kind of saw a little bit more distinct, you know, through the mountains, distinct landscapes and stuff. And then kind of getting down to the beach, we kind of got to a little village that seemed very, very poor. And I guess that's the only way I can describe it, you know? And because it seemed kind of almost like a ghost village because I didn't see a lot of people and we're just driving through.
You know what? I was thinking like, oh man, this sounds terrible and sad. But I've driven through the hill country and, you know, here. And it's like you see, I feel like...
There's towns that feel empty.
They're just dead. Yeah, they're gone. And the thing is, there are people there. They're just enough people there. Yeah. And a lot of them, they see they're just sort of a waypoint. It used to be maybe a bigger town. Or I was totally picturing the wrong thing. I think I know exactly what you're talking about. It's just like...
There's buildings, there's stuff, but it just feels empty.
Yeah. And it's like the same thing here. I get it, but okay.
And then the crazy thing, so we were getting close. They were telling us we're getting close to the beach. So I was kind of trying to get that idea of what the
tell
beach
me more about
area.
that town though. Like, so wait, were the buildings?
We just drove through it. It was
different?
like houses, and some of them you can tell that they were businesses, but it was just like.
Because I was thinking like mud buildings at first. So not mud buildings. It was just like old small buildings from a town that could have been.
It felt somewhere in between like adobe houses and, you know, like more concrete wood housing. I don't really know. It's been a few years.
I've got family member that live in like houses made out of like the middle sheets and stuff. So it's like like that. We have that kind of poor here. Yeah. And to be fair too, you don't know if that's their only house. A lot of them, did they have farmland like around it?
Not that we could see. I'm pretty sure.
Trust me, they had money.
But it was like...
Well, not all of it. I'm not saying they're rich, but it's like a lot of them that could be like a side business. Because I know a bunch of people here in America that have stores and houses in Mexico. You know? So it's like people don't ask like, does family stay in it while you're gone? And like, it's just a house down there. So what we could be thinking of as like an empty town could just be they're all living up here in America and they visit down.
But the thing I think is, kind of economic thing is like, we had to pass through that. And then we got to the touristy beach section, which is very touristy, and
there was big stores. It looked like what's on the posters.
Yeah,
it's like beautiful town, and then there's like giant hotels by the beaches and stuff.
We went to a resort. There was a Walmart. There was all these commercial things, and I'm kind of thinking that maybe it was like a very the town that we went through was maybe a big village. Mm-hmm. But kind of because the tourist spots, sprang up, they just lost people.
I was gonna say they probably just moved a little bit down. How far between would you say?
It felt like we were going through the village, and then we took a turn onto a highway, and then boom, we were in the tourist section.
I bet the people just moved to better houses. They got better jobs.
It felt kind of like that, but it was a very distinct feeling. Distinct,
maybe they're about ghosts. Like the feeling that the spirit of the town.
Yeah,
truly, there's something here, and it's sadness. To the tourist town. Yeah. And then you said tourist town was like boom, straight like big buildings, shopping centers, restaurants, things that you would expect in a tourist town.
And it was like one of those, we saw 2 or 3 of the cruise ships like passing by. Like that was like a stop where they would stop there at Puerto Vallarta. It was beautiful out there, and the beaches were nice and clear, and I mentioned earlier that we went swimming on the ocean, and I was able to go like get in the water, open up my eyes, and I could see little fishes floating.
Yeah, that sounds freaking awesome.
Cool.
That's like little.
But I guess it's interesting seeing just the differences of, of the country, seeing more. And it just got me interested in going and trying and finding more, of the country.
Of Mexico?
Seeing more, yeah.
No, you were telling me, though, and this is funny, because I was asking, like, the vibe you got from town, and it was pretty much just like the vibe you get in a big city, you got in a big city. The vibe you get in a ghost town, you get in a ghost town. And you said the beach, even though it was like nicer than Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
You said you got a scary vibe in the ocean.
Yes.
Yeah. What talent?
Because I don't know the exact term for it, but it was like there at Puerto Vallarta. It's like there's some rock formations, like it's a giant rock that kind of go out, and I guess it's like a bay or cove. I don't know exactly what you. I don't know. I don't go to the beach that often, so I don't know. But it's like it's like a little portion of the ocean coming in, and it felt like if you went out far enough, it felt like it would just take you. I've gone to Corpus, gone in the ocean, and gone farther out than I was expecting, and be like, okay, I'm comfortable here. But out there, it was kind of like,
and
there's only so far
a vibe,
vibe that I was like, see, and I don't know how to swim well enough. I've taken lessons. I'm a lot better than I used to be. But still, I think I'd feel more comfortable going out farther, into the water like on a beach like Corpus.
Yeah, I have a theory, though, that what it is, because you said you could see small fish right up to you. Well, Corpus Christi, that, like I said, that's a lot of shipping lanes right there. And I bet you that kind of scares off, and the pollution or whatever gets rid of most of the fish. So that scares off the big fish, nothing really to eat there. Yeah. But on a clearer area there where you only get really the cruise ships and you could see little fish right in front of your face, there's bigger fish to eat those fish. There's bigger fish to eat those fish. And it just went on, and I bet you, like primordially, you were sensing there's giant sharks out there and things that will bite me. Tell you, man.
I think maybe that was the feeling,
Chupacabra
mermaid, and there was like a little section in the ocean there that, like I guess there was some sandbars that were kind of like making like this little area that felt safe. But we go to another area and it was like, I can't go out farther than a few meters because something. I guess. I'm
telling you,
but it's
man.
something.
Mermaid chupacabras. That's what it was. Mermaid chupacabras. You knew they were there. They wanted to eat your face, drain you in the ocean. Watch. Yeah. There's plenty of tales of people disappearing at the beaches in Mexico. Mermaid chupacabra. Google it. I'm telling you. But you were saying there, you were like, I'm reconnecting with my nature, and it's like, I've come home. Blah.
Yeah.
So fantastic. People make fun of your Spanish?
No, they
must have been really polite.
They
really
were
nice people.
I guess because I was trying. At least have a conversation,
How different is the Spanish down there from up here?
I know a lot of people who are from that area of Mexico, so I've kind of like acclimated to the language, specific, just way of speaking, and the specific terms, and slang and stuff.
Give me an example. You can't because they don't exist. It's like talking to like a New Yorker or something.
Kind of, just like a certain way to talk,
Wicked smart.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
It's like, they just use that term wicked a lot unnecessarily. And what is it? Was it like Northwesterners or Northern? Is it not A? Was it? Yeah, the A's. Kind of not just in Canada. It's like a lot of those people use A's.
Yeah.
Or was it like pop versus cola? They have like the different terms for soda.
It was kind of like that, like little things. And I guess since that's... since I've practiced my Spanish with people who are from Guadalajara and that area of Mexico, it's kind of like I just picked up those things. So that's kind of the Spanish I speak. So I'm afraid if I would start speaking Spanish to someone from Spain, I would know there's a difference, but I'd want to rely on these words or terms that I
big differences.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know like a lot of people from Central America to Mexico. Yeah. Totally different Spanish from Spain, which is funny because we get taught Spain Spanish in America, not any of the ones we'd actually use. It's pointless. Like, there's so many flaws with our education system. But that's a huge one. It's like, we're going to teach you how to speak French like they did in the Middle Ages, where it won't help you at all. Because we're jerks. We want you to be dumb. So was that your first time on a plane?
It was, and it has been my only time on a plane, going to Mexico and then coming back from Mexico.
Nice. How'd you like it?
Oh, I love the experience.
Really? I thought you were afraid of flying.
I'm afraid of heights. That's the one thing That's the one thing of flying on the plane. Yeah. I realized it's not so much the heights I'm afraid of; it's the fall from the height that I'm afraid of. Knowing that I was in a secure vehicle flying, and I was, there could be a chance it could crash, but it was secure. I was okay
allegedly.
With it. I think I'd be much more afraid on a roller coaster than I am on a plane.
Claustrophobics.
I thought I was going to be very claustrophobic, but it wasn't. I wasn't. And I was surprised my daughter took the ride really well. Really? She really enjoyed it, yeah. But the cool thing was that we had a 30-minute flight out of San Antonio to Houston first.
Oh, okay.
And then from Houston to Mexico was like a 2.5 hour flight.
So you kind of got a little test flight before.
It did, and it helped a lot with that, because we felt like from San Antonio to Houston, as soon as we got up to flying altitude, they were like, okay, we're coming back down.
Nice.
It was like that, and it just, good adjustment. And then coming back from Mexico, it was a straight shot from Guadalajara to San Antonio, and it was, I had no problems.
How long was that flight?
A little more than 2.5 hours.
That's not that bad. Yeah. That's like a drive to Austin for us, basically.
Yeah.
Actually, in Austin, wouldn't that be like a 3-hour drive?
Austin was a little short, 3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
Between 2 and 2:45.
I hate flying, man. It's not just like I don't like the parking situation. Yeah. I don't like waiting in line for the whole security thing. And I hate the airplane itself. It's not the height. It's not the fear or anything.
Yeah.
It's the pressurized cabins, man.
Really?
It's like, what is it? It builds up in my ear, and I know you're supposed to be able to chew or swallow and repressurize yourself. It don't work for me. No. I don't know if I got some inner ear issue or something, but it's just excruciating pain. And that's not like me using like colorful language. I mean, it was as soon as I landed, I was like, I don't think I'm going to be able to get on my when I had my layover. I wasn't going to be able to get on the flight afterwards. It was just way too much pain.
How long was the flight? You went to Wisconsin?
I went to Wisconsin. It was on like each time it was more. Every time that I've been to Wisconsin, the flight from back and forth, whatever, each one got increasingly more and more painful. And the last time on the way back, I felt like I was being stabbed in the ear. It was like just like one of the most amount of pain that I've been in out of a back injury or like a toothache of just like unescapable pain, man. Like I was literally crying in my seat. It was horror. And whenever I was getting ready for the layover to come back from, I think, Dallas to San Antonio, we didn't get taken out to like one of the little tunnel things that leads to the plane. We got taken out on the tarmac. Yeah. And I was like, what's the deal here?
Different kind of plane?
Different, yeah. Literally plane, man. It was like the jet engines to a propeller, a double propeller. And the first thought in my mind was, I was like, great, we're going to die. And I was truly happy about it because I was in so much pain. I was like, I hope this is a short flight. Because it was like raining real bad. The clouds were like pitch black. And like you could see like where the rain was coming down, making a wall of gray. And they're like, we're going to have to fly right through that to get to San Antonio. I was like, sweet.
How long was the flight?
It was, I knew it was going to take as long as it needed to get to the crash, which is great because I was happy to get there. However that joke goes, it was, man. And it was going to be... I don't remember the length of it, and it wasn't
probably less than an hour flight.
I think so, but I remember getting in, and the thing is, it didn't make that noise whenever it sucks. It's not a pressurized plane, the one that we got on,
because it doesn't go up.
It doesn't go that high, and it was freaking awesome because it was like also because it wasn't pressurized, it wasn't as stuffy, so it might have been a little bit colder, but it felt like it was fresh air coming in. Yeah. And since we were flying through like a storm cloud, like rain was coming on the side, and everybody was kind of freaking out because there was a good amount of turbulence. Yeah. But I was just so nice to not be in pain that I was like actually tapping my feet and looking around. I was all squinched.
You were keeping everybody else calm.
It felt great. Huh? Yeah, I was like just like yay. It was like
about how many people were on this flight?
It could only fit like I think it was 16 maybe. No, it was a few less than 20. Very
not as small as I was thinking. I was thinking like a three-seater.
No, man, that's a single engine. That's a single engine. Plane, yeah. Nah, this one it was like on one side it had a row of 2, and on the other side it was just a row of 1.
Okay.
To fill it out. So it would have been more comfortable if it was taken out a row of seats. Yeah. But even then, I don't even think we had it filled up. So it was probably exaggerating a bit on the seats. It might have been a little bit less than that because it wasn't even a full length. Like one of the big double engine ones that they have, it was a very small one. Like the door came down for this to come up, and it was private jet size, but not a private jet, obviously. Freaking comfortable though.
So when you saw the plane, were you expecting it to be worse than the?
I didn't know quite.
Bigger plane.
I was just overwhelmed by joy that I might die. and not have to be an excruciating pain.
So you were expecting death, but obviously you didn't die.
It was optimistically. It was optimistic. No, it was a nepotism or whatever. Or
nepotism?
Nihilism. Optimistic nihilism. It's like, this is going to be a good one.
Horrible.
I'm happy. There you go. That's what it was. Optimistic nihilism. So I was really happy as soon as I saw the plane. And then it turned out, it was optimistically optimistic.
Yeah.
Because it was just very comfortable. And, when we got back, everybody else was like, oh my God, they're talking about, we flew through a storm cloud. We could have died. I was a small engine and the propellers, I didn't know what was going to happen. It was just like, that was so nice. It was pretty chill. And afterwards, I came home. And the thing is, I still had a bit of that soreness from how painful it was earlier. And that was the last time I've been on planes. And I don't know if I can get on some regular ones again, like jet engines. Because it's like, that was a very bad experience.
Oh, I know there's a lot of people who have different reactions to it,
Poor me. Everyone should feel bad about me.
So you would fly in smaller size plane.
Yeah, I'd be down with that.
I remember I went to a county festival a few months back around Halloween, and they were giving helicopter rides. I wasn't able to get in the rides.
That I'd be curious about.
But that was something I was kind of curious about because I don't have that experience of in a small plane, and I thought I'd be a lot more afraid. Well, from what I'm getting from you, it probably was more fun. I mean, exhilarating kind of roller coaster ride kind of thing.
The fear that oh my gosh, it could all end.
Yeah.
But that's what a roller coaster fear excitement is. It's because it's like your body's responding to this unusual stimuli. But a helicopter would be a different beast entirely, man. Yeah. Especially if they let you open up the doors. God. Can you imagine? I think they do that sometimes. They let you just pop them open and just be like, because I know you have to have the headphones on so you can hear each other. Yeah. And can you imagine them just sliding that out and be like, and if you look down, and that air, just like that call of the void, like jump, do it. You know what I mean? The call of the void, right?
Yes.
So anytime it's some sort of I guess whenever you have an apprehension about something, there's a part of your brain that instinctively says to go for it, to get rid of that apprehension. So if you're whenever you're going to jump into a pool from a good height and you have that fear of anybody who has a vertigo or a type of fear will understand that sometimes there's part of you that just wants to do it. And it's because you're instinctually kind of while you're being pushed away, you're also being pulled forward.
I kind of feel that in the parking garage where I park the car. Yeah,
you're gonna get stabbed or something. What?
No. Like that, just that feeling of kind of looking out into the street below.
Oh, you're parking on high up. Yeah,
high up. Sometimes in some of the garages that I park, just kind of that feeling, kind of uneasiness and kind of because I used to, when I was younger, of course when I was younger, not when I was older, I would have these dreams where I would float, not really flying, not dreams of flying, but dreams of floating. But I guess it's kind of that uneasiness, kind of okay, because there is a certain I'm assuming, lightness, if you're skydiving or whatever for a moment, it's okay, I'm not falling, I'm just existing in this vastness.
You know what? You were falling with style. Your brain was you were in your dream world from the outside looking in. You were falling to your death, but your brain was he can't handle this. Make him go slow. Yeah. Oh, it's just such a nice, lovely experience. But your death.
But in the dreams, it wasn't that I was falling. I jump and float up, not float down. Mm-hmm. But kind of, I don't know where I'm going with this. It's kind of that.
It's just weird dream thing. Yeah, dreams are weird. I don't know. So you want to jump off your parking structure? Continue there.
It's. I think wasn't there Rhett and Link that on their.
I don't know.
That they did a thing where they were putting words to feelings that
don't have words for.
They don't have words for. And
what's the words for? They said
for that was vertigon.
Vertigon.
Instead of vertigon, kind of just wanting to just not fall, but just
to go
jump into the void, and just the air, kind of just feel lightness. I guess I don't know. I mean, if
it's a weird one,
all humans just have that. I need
maybe
to
need to try that
or something. I don't know.
I think so. It does seem to be a common one. We all want to fly. Have you thought about indoor? Skydiving?
Yes, I have, and I know this location in San Antonio, and I'm gonna go.
Oh, for real?
Really? Well, I mean, I would even if I heard that it sucks, I would want to go get the experience and then say for sure, okay, yeah, that sucks. I won't do it again.
Oh, okay. Good Groupon.
Groupon, yeah. So we're all going. Joe behind the camera. You're coming along.
Did you see how much it cost?
Do you know the price?
It's probably $30 or something.
Yeah.
I think it's over 100.
Or I do the.
What?
No, never mind. What would you do?
When you go out to those ranches and you like swing on the.
Zip lines. Yeah, zip lining, man. I've heard that you're gonna have a bad time. I'll try it because they attach you to it too, so you can't fall.
Yeah, you can't fall. I went to one of those when I was younger on a field trip, and I was so terrified. And I kind of wish that I would have just done it, gone up there and experienced it. And, you know,
I've done that. I
really?
fell.
You fell?
Yeah, it was a small zip line on like a kid kind of thing. And it's like underneath they had this kind of, it looked like recycled tar material, like with tires. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You get on it and you slide down. It's not that fast. And the thing is, if it was faster, I probably would have made it to the other side, but I had to hold on for so long.
Oh, okay. But that was where you weren't harnessed in. You were just hanging on.
Hanging on.
How far off?
About 12 feet. It wasn't farther than
whoa, that was...
It was a good thing. I should not have had, They should not have had that there.
And you fell?
Yeah.
Are you okay?
Not emotionally. No.
What do you feel when you're in like situations like that?
The call of the void.
Yeah.
Like, this is terrifying. Like, I've been to the top of that tower. Was that one we have?
Tower of the Americas?
Yeah.
I'm going to take my daughter there, actually.
I don't know if they have little cocoa machines and coffee up there.
Mm-hmm.
I've been once. Nicer rents off.
And it was terrifying, but not as terrifying as I was expecting it to be. I survived. I love the experience. I want to take my daughter. She's never
go on a windy day.
I went there and I got sick.
There you feel it. Because I've been up a couple times. Mm-hmm. And one time it was a real nice day. And everything does look amazing. You put some coin and you look through these binocular things. And I saw some people playing basketball. Just people on the street. It was amazing. The only time I got that call of the void, that sickness in my stomach, was when I looked straight down.
Yeah.
Then I felt it. But the way it's set up, you kind of don't get that.
Yeah.
Because
when I was... more towards the center, I was okay. When I tried walking out like towards so you could see, not even just looking down, but just walking straight forward.
I guess for some people that would set it off. Yeah,
I have very, very bad vertigo, but I'm able to. I guess I know like I'm able to calm myself down enough so like it's not a problem, but that boom, boom, boom,
the fear is delicious.
Yeah.
Now, as I said, the time where as soon as I went out there, it was bad. It was a darker day and it was very windy up there. Down on the ground, it was like, it's just kind of nice. But I guess as you go higher up, the wind speed goes up. So as soon as I went out and I got like pushed by it, even though it was more back inside like the place, it was like, oh God. Even though they have like railing up there to keep you, part of me, the wind shakes enough and you hear just a bit of a creak and it's like, gonna die. And every now and then you can feel the ground shift a bit under you. Like just like something like, it's not a lot, it's just a little bit of movement from the wind because they're designed to move a little bit.
You'll feel that move.
And you feel it like in your soul and it feels like you're falling a lot more than you are. And that day was a bad day, but made it exciting. I had some cocoa.
That's nice.
The taste burnt it, but it was good.
We'll see how it goes with my daughter when I take her.
Well, yeah, let us know. Obviously, I'm assuming you videotape it.
Of course.
Went out with a cassette. That'd be weird.
Yeah.
Like on your phone. Check that out. I would be interested to see how she enjoyed it. And with that, we hope you enjoyed our episode. Once again, thank you to the friends of the show, Angela Hernandez, Alan Zamron. Anybody else want to get some shout outs? Let us know. Tell us about topics you want to hear about. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, Imager, Twitter. Imager.
And Instagram.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Or any other things?
I think that's it.
Please like and share. Press the little thumbs up button so people know that you like us, and subscribe and let people know we're great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.